So after watching Clint Darden's video about what I want you to know and his discussion about his battle with inflammatory bowel disease, I thought that that would be a great way to get across some of the things I want to talk about with being a type 1 diabetic. So, it was a great idea. Full credit goes to Clint for coming up with this. And I just want to, I think it's a great format to kind of inform and see what it's like. What I want you to know is that I have to check my blood sugars. This has to go with me everywhere I go. It doesn't matter for how long or how short of a time period. This is a tool to keep me alive. This meter lets me know exactly what my blood sugar is and what I need to do to fix if it's not correct. It's just a way of life. I will never be separated from that. It will have to be with me for the rest of my life. I have to take shots every day without fail, usually multiple times a day. If I'm sick, it can be as many as 15 times daily. So every day, this and this goes with me everywhere I go. So if you see me with this bag, it's not because it's a fashion accessory. It's because this keeps me alive. Without this, my body cannot function at all. Everything shuts down. Insulin is required for the human body to live. This is my life in this vial right here. I have to treat my lows. So if I stop somewhere and get a candy bar, if I buy a bottle of juice, don't look at me and wonder, hey, should you have that? Because I do. I have to have that. If my blood sugar goes too low, I can slip into a coma or pass out behind the wheel of a vehicle. I carry something with me everywhere I go. Usually they are little gel blocks that runners use, but they are with me at all times. I have to treat my highs. So if my blood sugar is abnormally high, it causes pain and discomfort. I get cramping in my forearms and my calves. My hands hurt. I'm dehydrated. I'm irritable. And it's no control of my own. So I have to check constantly. And I have to correct by taking another shot if it's not in the proper range. I may act differently when I'm high or low. When I'm high, I am more irritable. It's not because I'm in a bad mood. It's just because my body is not functioning properly. I cannot control it sometimes. No one can. I've seen countless diabetics talk about this. It affects our emotional state. I'm sorry, I've probably been hateful or not nice to people throughout my life, and I couldn't help it. I'm sorry, it wasn't ever done intentionally. If my blood sugar is low, I babble, worse than I already do. I will appear to be drunk, despite the fact I don't drink. It alters my mental state the same way as being drunk does. I lose coordination, I lose verbal control, and to the point that I can pass out. I have to know what's in my food. Look, I get it, Starbucks. You don't like me having to ask to not put syrup in my coffee. And you probably get tired of me asking if there's not really syrup in my coffee. But I have to know, because if I don't know and you put syrup in there, you negatively affect me for the rest of my day. So when I go to a restaurant and I ask you what is in the food, it's not because I'm trying to be difficult. It's because I'm trying to prevent myself from further damaging my body. I have to know. It's not a want. It's not because I'm pretentious and want to know that it's all organic or anything like that. I have to know so that I know how to take the proper dosage. It's very frustrating when people get upset with me for asking that question. I don't want to have to ask that question. I really don't. I have to. It's just the way that I have to live my life to have control of this. No diet or supplement is going to cure me. I understand that some people do this just through ignorance and trying to be helpful, but if you ever go up to a diabetic and try to tell them that okra water or this supplement, or you know somebody that took this pill and now they're no longer a diabetic, that simply is not true for a type 1 diabetic. It is a chronic autoimmune disease. There is no cure. It's not going to go away. The only thing that I ever have found that makes it go away is a new pancreas. And the rejection rate is extremely high. And most people have to be on immunosuppressant drugs for the rest of their lives with a pancreas transplant. So there's no cure. And I'm not offended. I just would like you to be better informed. You know, you won't go up to a cancer patient who's lost all their hair and be like, well, I know somebody that took a pill and they no longer have cancer. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to any diabetic. It can be extremely hurtful. It's a very difficult disease to live with. Everything in my day has to be planned out ahead of time. I have to constantly be thinking about what my numbers are and what they will be in the next 2 hours. So just please, there's no cure. If you're a type 2 diabetic, sometimes type 2 diabetics can be controlled with diet. But that's a completely different disease. I'm not a type 2 diabetic. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I was diagnosed when I was 4 years old because my body destroyed the cells in my pancreas that create insulin. Therefore, I will never make insulin again. It will not happen as of yet. If they come out with a drug in the future, great. But right now, I don't produce any insulin. That's why I have to take a shot. I can't take a pill. I can't just exercise. I can't just eat a diet a certain way and cured. It's just not how it works. You know, when my pancreas ceased to function, that was it. I became a diabetic on that day. Until the day I die, I will be a diabetic. It's manageable, it's livable, it's tolerable for the most part. But remember that I have to live a completely different life than anybody else. And I strive very, very hard to live as normal life as possible. But it takes an incredible amount of time and thought and patience that goes into it. And sometimes it still doesn't work right. So, you know, like I said, I think this was a great way to get it out there. And I'm not trying to be negative at all. And that may be kind of how this came across. But, you know, it's education. You know, treat it like that. I'm not trying to talk down to anybody. But just be aware that there will be times when you will run across a diabetic and they may be extremely hateful or lash out or whatever, and chances are it may not be their fault. Or if somebody is taking a shot in a public place, if you don't like needles, just turn away. You don't have to watch, but they have to do that. If they don't, they will die. It's just really that simple. It's just the way of our lives, and I don't think that we should be punished for it. I wish people would be more understanding of it, and so hopefully with this little education, maybe you'll understand it a little better. Anyway, thanks. Everybody have a great day.